is one of the only people caught on camera that day encouraging others to break the law. He's one of the only ones. The question is, did Ray Epps work or have any contact with any government agency? Did he talk about January 6th before it happened with any employee of the U.S. government?
Okay, we're going to explain this. An Arizona native who became the face of right-wing conspiracy theories about the January 6th attack on the Capitol pleaded guilty today for his role in the Capitol riot. That is a big deal because back in July, Epps filed a lawsuit against Fox News and Tucker Carlson for spreading claims that he was a secret government agent who was in charge of inciting the insurrection. At the time, as you just heard, Carlson claimed the fact that he had not been charged meant that he must be a plant. Follow us? Joining us now is NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley. I hope I got that straight, Ryan. Talk to me about why Roy Epps pleaded guilty today, what he was charged with. Ray Epps.
Well, it's hard. It's definitely hard to explain the conspiracy because it falls apart with any little bit of critical thinking skills. You know, the whole basis off of this was that this man was featured on the FBI's website, which, if he was a confidential informant, probably wouldn't have happened in the first place. But then because he was taken off, that's really what sort of spurred this, and because he wasn't charged. But, you know, if you were to go on the FBI's website today, there's 100 people on there who have been identified but not yet arrested. They've been identified by online sleuths in the sedition hunters community but not yet arrested. So today what we have is a situation where Ray Epps is pleading guilty, but honestly, his behavior doesn't really stand out from amongst the thousands who were in the crowd that day. Essentially, what prosecutors have done have drawn a line around the Capitol building itself and say people who entered the Capitol building are going to get charged, and people who engaged in violent activity or destructive activity outside are also going to get charged. But there's only a handful of cases amongst these more than 1,000 cases that have been brought in these 2.5 years that involve defendants who didn't do either of those things, engage in property destruction or engage in assaults. What Ray Epps did was say, you know, some pretty dumb things, I think, ahead of January 6th, say that we need to go in the Capitol. He said that on video on January 5th. Now on January 6th, he encouraged people to go towards the Capitol. But what is in this plea deal actually is that he actually did de-escalate at least 5 separate times these conflicts between police officers and rioters and sort of try to separate them. You can see it on video. So it is a really unique case, and it's a question of whether or not this ever would have been brought in the first place had it not been for this really becoming the focus of so many conspiracy theories and questions from members of Congress, including today during the hearing with Merrick Garland.
He pleaded guilty today.